Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fueled by Progress, hosted by me, Mark Joseph Szymanski. We have for you today a extremely special episode for multiple reasons that I will run through here very quickly. I'm going to try to do something pretty cool and insert this little video into the thing somewhere. We have a live audience. Say hello, live audience. Hey, what's up? That was fun. Okay, and now we also have, for the first time ever, we have a 4-person episode on Fueled by Progress. Maybe like a round table, but it's kind of, rectangular. So, take that for, what it's worth. But welcome, dudes. First here, we have Jesse Stechly. He's a very familiar face. He was on a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
so what's up, brother? And then we have Alex Hirst. What's up, man?
How you doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming through. And then Christian, I don't know your last name. I apologize.
It's Rohrer.
Rohrer?
Yeah, kind of like the lion.
Perfect. Christian Rohrer,
Oh,
thank you.
boy.
Thank you, man.
Jesse, I don't like where we're going with that.
Oh boy.
We're off to a good start. I like that. But appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much for coming into the studio or garage, however you want to call it. But you guys have a very interesting dynamic here. So to give the audience some context, you guys have known each other for a very long time, since I believe kindergarten, if Jesse told me correctly, and you've been really good friends since 4th grade. So maybe we kind of start there, and we'll kind of get the stories and everything, kind of flowing. Jesse, if you want to kind of start it off, obviously the audience knows you a little bit, but if you just want to kind of give a little bit of context and wherever it goes, we'll go there.
Yeah, so I have obviously, these are my 2 best friends from grade school. We've known each other since kindergarten. We really hit it off in 4th grade, I would say, around that time anyway. The rest is history. So
That's it. All right, we'll see you. No, just kidding. But that's cool. Then in 4th grade, you guys were jiving. That's dope.
Sure.
You guys were down south a little bit, right? Washington County area. So a lot going on down there. Did you have a lot of 4th grade fun when you guys were young tots?
Not too much.
There was a lot of fun in Catholic grade school.
Yeah.
We kind of ran the show.
That's true.
we really did. Yeah, we really did.
Ran the show. I like that. So you guys did go. So that's actually a good point though, because we talk about that. We've definitely talked about it a couple times on the show here. So what was that like? You guys went to Catholic grade school, myself as well. We just didn't go to the same one, obviously. Do you think what kind of effect do you think that had on you? As a friend group and as individuals. Again, however you want to go about it.
I already spoke.
Okay, so
I'm done for the rest of the night.
I think the great blessing about that was it was such a small. We got to know each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we got. If we had gone to public school, we might not have met.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I think that played a large role.
Yeah.
I can attest to that too, because I went to public school for high school. I'm the one that didn't continue on to go through 12th grade in the
But we
Catholic school
continued
system.
you on. We kept a hold on you.
Yeah. So I totally get that small school thing.
Yeah, that's definitely an interesting vibe. I went to 2 different schools, both Catholic, but yeah, I'm not even sure what the count was, but I'm pretty sure we graduated with about 100 kids in our class for high school. So that's definitely an interesting dynamic that you don't get at public schools, where it's basically like a huge city almost in a high school format. But yeah, so.
Yeah, by the end of JFK, there was 18 of us or something.
I thought there was 22.
Oh,
I
was
could
it?
be wrong.
Jesus.
I believe that is the correct
Okay.
number. 22.
Get my yearbook out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
22 people in your graduating class.
Yeah, JFK. Yeah.
Could we get a fact check on that?
Somebody look that up. Look that up, live audience.
Maybe there was only 18 people that I liked. Maybe the other ones were just bozos or
Ooh,
something.
should we be saying that in a public forum?
They know who they are. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Jesus. But man, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do you guys have opinions on? Well, specifically with you, Christian, how can you compare and contrast public school to private school? What are the big differences coming from somebody that's never gone to public school?
Yeah, so that was a really big change for me, because my graduating class in high school was 370, I think. So
yeah.
That's a lot of people, and I'll tell you, to this day, I've met people that graduated with me. I had no clue who they are or what. I've never even seen them. I'm like, I don't know who you are. So that is different to me, because at JFK, I knew everyone in my class. I knew pretty much everything about them, and it's kind of just very different. And then jumping into that high school experience where I really didn't know anyone, because I was the only one from our graduating class. I went to Canon Mac. I was the only one that went on to Canon Mac, so I didn't really know anyone. So that was different. So it was kind of like restarting, and it's different. And even the teacher, it's just different.
Yeah.
Different
vibe.
Not in a good way. Like Canon Mac was fine. Like that's fine, but I much prefer the smaller schools.
Right. More intimate community where you kind of know everybody, and yeah, that's definitely I would imagine it's a much different vibe. You probably, I don't know if you get away with more or what the deal is, but like you know more people, so it's like, it goes either way. It's like they know you, so there's a little bit more of a connection there, I would say, but at the same time, like it's kind of like living in a small town, I guess. You can't really get away with too much without other people knowing. So but so what are some of the things that you guys would say, as to provide more context, as a friend group, are very similar about you guys, that you think that you have meshed so well and have been able to grow together, even though you're in different places of your lives now?
Well, I think the number one factor is sense of humor.
Okay.
I think we live
tap into that a little bit. Yeah.
We live in a society where some people, you have to know me to get my sense of humor.
Yes.
And if you don't know me, you're going to look at me like, where'd you come from? But I think our sense of humor is very similar, where we can, he's being a smart ass. Or,
for sure.
Just get it.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
would you guys attest to that? Do you think it's a similar sense of humor? Has it always?
100%.
You think it's always been like that, or you think it's been developed over time?
Yeah, I think it's.
I think it clicked on. I think it clicked on the first time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nice. You gotta appreciate like a good bond like that, where like I have friends like that as well, where it's like you just have like a bunch of inside jokes. I think that's one of the coolest things too about having friends for such a long time, is because you guys probably have so many stories that were just you guys, right? Like, hanging out like when you were in high school or whatever, like going to like the movies or some shit, and then like you have these funny instances that for some reason just stick right in your mind. And it's like, oh man, remember that time this happened? And you guys can like laugh.
We used to do that all the time. We would stay at the JFK's cafeteria. We'd always be like, remember when? And we would always refer back to times when either our principal was choking in math class or something.
Oh my gosh.
Or one friend put a pencil underneath Christian and made him sit on it.
Oh my god.
It was
to this day he has lead poison now.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I think we could refer back to. I mean, I remember a lot of stuff from grade school, like a lot of stuff. But like I also consider myself to have a pretty good memory as well.
Yeah.
So maybe minor things are things that you guys may not remember, but like I remember to the T. So
yeah. I think there's definitely some things that stick out in your mind for specific reasons. Whatever the case may be, if it makes you like, something that's like crazy and makes you like laugh literally like in your stomach, obviously, you'll have those types of things. And I find myself even too, like, I don't know if you guys watch any, if you've ever seen like any funny YouTube videos that you guys have all watched or some shit like that, or like shows or anything. I know with my buddy Zach, like it's always like that, where there's just certain things that just stick out in your mind, and then you can say that randomly and you'll get a reaction out of your buddies. So
yeah,
sure
that was
Yes,
very accurate.
Yeah, so that's dope. You gotta appreciate that, like I said. But
Yeah.
I mean, throughout the years, how would you guys say, as like going through high school and everything like that, if we touch on to like more of like individualized things, what would you guys say, even in the past like couple years now, because we actually need to set the scene here too. So you guys are all still in like college age, right? So are you each 22?
21.
22.
Well, you're
21.
22.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So right around there in like college age and stuff like that. What would you say you guys have learned about yourselves? Are you still trying to like explore what you want to do for the rest of your lives? And like, I mean, obviously we talked a little bit last time with Jesse on the previous episode, but I mean, like Alex, if you want to kind of like talk about like where you've been and stuff like that, what you've kind of explored.
Yeah, so college was, when I was going and graduated high school.
Yeah.
And I wanted to become a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like my set goal.
Yep.
You know, nothing else.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
what I want to do. I'm going to Cal U, and
Right.
that's it. A little bit down the road, a lot of people think it has to do with what's going on with policing.
Right.
That's not why I'm sort of changed
Right.
my path. I worked for parking enforcement,
Mhm.
okay, in a local borough,
Mhm.
and got to know most of the town and become close with the postmaster in
Mhm.
that borough. God bless her, passed away this year of cancer. But one thing led to another, and I became interested in the postal service. The postal inspection, postal policing are all things that are in with that. But to do that, it's good to start somewhere. You could go in, but it's good to start. So I applied for the carrier position,
right,
to be a mail carrier, and I got the job.
Yeah.
And I do love it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think, oh, what do? You deliver 5 envelopes per day.
Yeah.
That's not, and I'm not saying, hey, feel bad. It's a hell of a job.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't last because they get there and they think, oh, well, it's hard.
Yeah.
And some 12-hour days, and around Christmas, that's going to be it.
Right.
But it's enjoyable, and there are just some people I meet, and I love talking to them, the older folks, folks at home,
Yeah.
I love what I do. So
Nice.
I don't know if I want to still go, and I'm finishing my degree,
Right.
obviously in criminal justice, but just take one day at a time.
Yeah.
I'm happy where I am.
I feel you. That's good. Did you say that's kind of just like regular mailman position that
Regular, yeah, I'm a male.
as you can? Sorry.
I'm a male person
Male
today.
per-
I don't want to be.
I got you. But that could definitely lead to something more. It's kind of like a foot in the door opportunity where you could always level up like to different sectors and stuff like that. That's
is
pretty
correct.
dope. Jesse was telling me a little bit about that before the episode. That's pretty cool that you could do almost like detective work like in postal service, because people are probably trying to like move dangerous shit around. I
They're
would
putting
assume.
all sorts of things in your. It's all going through the mail system. Yeah.
Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's dope, man. I wanted to comment on this too. You have the like voice of somebody that is just like a great storyteller. I was just sitting there, like I just feel like I'm like talking to like some sort of old wise wizard.
Oftentimes people say you have a great face for radio, and I say, well, thank you for that. But no, I thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely, man. Yeah, I was talking to some sort of Sherpa on a mountain or something like that. That was tremendous. But yeah, just random thought there. I had to throw it out. So like Christian, like similar question to you. Like what do you like where are you at right now as far as like, kind of where you're progressing and what do you kind of see for yourself in the future, I would say?
Oh, that's a very good question. In high school, I had always said lawyer. Like that was my main goal.
Yeah.
And then I got to college and then I said not lawyer.
Yeah.
I don't know what switched me, but that was always my main thought. But now I couldn't be further from the truth because I don't want to go to graduate school. I'm done. Once my 4 years are in, I'm out.
Yeah.
So that changed really quickly for me, which has been quite an interesting journey considering that I thought it was so planned out. So that's been interesting. But in high school, I started at a job as soon as I turned 16. That's something that is important to all three of us. We cannot do nothing. I think all of us.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, we're all like busy people. We have to be. So I started a job as soon as I was old enough for a Cricket Wireless authorized retailer, a really close family friend that owns a grouping of stores. And I'm still there. Yeah, 5.5 years later, I'm still there. So I went from lawyer to something in telecommunications when I graduate, which is kind of a 180.
Well, I think there's so much to be said, and we've definitely, like I said, talked about a lot of these topics in different episodes, and it's just because they're so common. I know even with myself, like I switched majors twice, and they were kind of similar, but like there's something about college where I think if you do it right, it brings a lot of self-awareness, right? You go in there thinking that you're going to be a lawyer, and then you have an experience that isn't even really directly tied to college. I mean, you got a job basically, and you just enjoyed that. And now you're going on a different path, or you're trying to go to a different path. You're trying to modify your route to something that you think is more fulfilling and more enjoyable. And I think that honestly more than just like going there and blindly, going to class and getting good grades and shit. I think that should be, I think I would recommend that that's probably the better route. So, I mean, that kudos to you, man, for kind of like finding that opportunity and then, trying to make something of that and realizing self-awareness and all that sort of stuff. That's dope. Yeah. So awesome. Now, question about that. I know that Jesse is heavily into tech and telecommunications and everything like that. I know that, he knows you worked at Cricket and Verizon?
Yeah, I worked with Christian, actually.
Gotcha. Yeah, so
he got me the job. I mean, I got myself the job. He just recommended me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice. It's good to have friends on the inside. So Alex, do you share that? Do you share that at all? Are you a tech dude? Are you a tech dude?
Not at all.
No?
Am I technologically inclined?
Yeah.
Hell no. We'll be sitting at dinner and they'll talk about phones and talk about, can you guys just shut up? Hello, here I am.
Can we get a demonstration of you like typing on your phone with your pointer finger?
I may make fun. I still type with
Can't use your
40-year-old guy. I'm like, okay, so what does that mean? I still can send you a text, can I? I'm not dialing the rotary phone.
He's a very quick typer. I have seen it.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of like this.
Very quick.
It's a hell of a finger.
Well, I mean, whatever method works for you. I like that. It's ingenuity and, again, self-awareness, I would say. That's good. So, but that's interesting, because, again, we talked a little bit about things that you guys have, similarities, but, like, is there things, like, are there big differences like that? I mean, obviously, that's something that, Christian and Jesse share. Is there other things, maybe that you guys like, especially in, like, a group of three? I don't really have that type of a group, right? So if it's just like two people in a friend group that have been friends for a long time, then you kind of know what each other like. And then if you aren't similar in like this area, then you probably have some other friends. Like for instance, like I have a really good friend, but he doesn't play ball hockey, so we don't talk about that, etc. Like what else do you think? Is there other things that like have kind of made you guys stronger? Like just differences as well? I mean, either way.
I have one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm very old school.
Yes.
And you old-fashioned, really.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
And you guys everything's modernized. You're new. Like music. I don't like anything past the year like 1992.
Really?
I'm 70s and 80s.
Yeah, I mean, I do share.
You guys
that
appreciate
with
the
Alex.
love for it, but like if something new comes on the radio, you're gonna know it. I'm gonna say
that is true. Yeah.
It could be Joe Schmo I wouldn't care.
Yeah, you wouldn't
care. Yeah. So, but yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. How do you, if you had to go deep and try to, because I don't want to say you're the minority there necessarily, but for like a 20, 21, 22-year-old dude, I think that is something that, obviously we have, I would say, 3-ish people here that are the opposite way, right? Just to some degree. What do you think drove something as small as that, like in your life leading up to this point, that have put you in that position where it's like, well, I just don't like modern music? Like, can you pinpoint any of that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Growing up, I had my mother and father. My mother, she sings. My dad loves the 80s music. He'd always have MTV playing.
Yeah.
I forget what channel, but they'd have the 80s videos playing. So I started watching, and I liked the music. It was good music, and like today's music couldn't click. It was just like, okay, great. It's nice to hear it, but it doesn't really do anything. But I just began to love it, and then I started listening to the oldies station I worked for, and it's just that's what I listen to. When I'm out delivering mail, I have the radio on. That's what I'm listening to. So,
are you sure you're not like actually 55?
I think my driver's license says 22.
That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, it's dope, man. That's crazy, man. I again, you gotta appreciate those things, because that's always something that I try to. Anything that I do, anything that we talk about on the show, I always try to like relate it back to like how did that happen, right? Because I think that those things are always really interesting, at least to me, and I think a lot of our viewers, because as you continue to go throughout life, there's going to be, you might have kids one day, and you might, make a, start a family and all this stuff. And when you do that, you start the process over, right? Like you just said there, the reason that you like, older music and your old fashioned stuff is because you got that directly from your parents. And, and that's just one example, but moving forward, there's going to be a ton of things in your life where you're either going to want to almost duplicate, I think, in a sense, to your kids and like pass that on, or be like, you know what, no, maybe this is something that I took from my parents that I don't want to pass on to them, you know, that type of thing. And I think that's cool, because I'm always thinking about that. And I know, like Alex, you said, like kind of one day at a time thing, but like are those things that and it's a question, all of you, do you how far into the future do you guys think? Do you think, like, do you have like different goals and stuff? Maybe we can touch on some of that. Like, I know we talked about a little bit what you want to do and where you're going right now, and I know it's hard when you're young, so especially when you're still in school. It's like such a barrier that you can't like really see past. It's just a wall. But is there any like goals like off the top of your head? They don't have to be about career or anything like that, but like just really anything that you guys have.
Want to start up, Christian?
Oh, good. I shouldn't be starting with this.
That's why we're asking.
I'm such a short-term planner. Like, I don't like to think too far out.
Yeah.
I'm 6 months. Like, that's my max. I like to plan, but I don't like to make long, elaborate plans anymore. I've really grown out of that since I've got to college, because I've found that it almost always changes.
Right.
So why focus my energy on making some elaborate plan that I'm going to abandon?
I respect that.
Yeah, so that's a good question. Someone else has something more concrete than I have to offer? Because I got nothing.
I'm kind of like thinking vaguely. Like, what do you at? Like,
well, let me give you an example. Sure. So I'll piggyback off what Christian said, and I'll give you an example, and you guys can kind of like, you know, fill in your own personal details. So for me, I'm at this point now where obviously I'm out of college and I'm starting these different businesses and stuff like that. And we're doing the podcast, and I'm trying to learn just a shit ton from everyone, right? And try to implement that in my life, and then try to pay that back to other people that are doing similar things or want to do similar things or whatever. And as far as like goals, like I have some, and I really think that's important, because I think from the mindset perspective, it's huge to not think like, oh, I want to be like, have like your next 10 years planned. Because first of all, it could waste time. Because if you do that, then I have a couple things, like for instance, that I want to do in the next like 5 years, right? Like propose to my girlfriend, get married, move out of my parents' house, obviously not in that order, have kids, and like all that sort of stuff. Like, but in that comes obviously some pressure that you have to, you feel like you have to lead up to, which isn't always the worst thing in the world. But at the same time, you have to really be prepared, and this is where like Christian's mindset comes in. You have to be prepared for things to change. I don't think it's good to go completely without a plan, and that's not by any means like an insult to you, Christian. Like, you're obviously still in college and stuff like that. Once you get to a certain point, though, if you don't have some sort of a plan, then you're not going to have an aim. You're not going to have goals. And when you don't know where you're going, it's very hard to get there. You know what I'm saying? But it is important to be adaptable and malleable as you're going. So that was probably like a very long-winded example of what I have. But like, just for me, those are some of the things. I mean, I don't know if you guys have similar ideas, or if you've thought about that type of stuff. And if you haven't, again, that's cool. I was just kind of a curious question to see where the youth of today, lies as far as that goes.
No, I planning is key. You have to have a set plan, as you said, but you got to be flexible.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
People say, well, you control your own life. And okay, you do, but people can change your life
right
at any moment,
snap,
any time. And I'm not gonna. I could go off in so many relationships,
keep going. Yeah, go ahead.
Whatever. But you got to pick up the pieces and move on,
for sure,
because they're out, they're gone, they've already moved on, they're happy. Whatever the case in relationships, life, friendships, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But I think flexibility is key.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be flexible. So in whatever you do.
Yeah, definitely.
But you have plans to like do like the postal police or the inspection or something, right? Possibly.
That's a possibility. Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that's why I'm getting my degree. Mm-hmm. But I'm happy where I am now.
Yeah.
That's really my number one is I'm working. I have a job. But I got to
Which,
finish.
by the way, sorry, not a lot of friends who I know have a job or have had as long of a job as the three of us have probably had.
Right.
It's just, in my opinion,
we do
a lot
hold
of people,
jobs well. Before the Postal Service, I worked for the parking enforcement for 2 years, and then I was at a restaurant for 4.5 years.
Wow.
Learned a hell of a lot there.
Stuff.
But yeah, it was a learning experience.
Yeah.
But
and I respect that so much out of any of my friends who are able to stick at a job for as long as You know, it's not just like, oh, you're getting a new job every 3 months or something.
Right.
Now these guys are sticking their job to like years.
Plus, working is very necessary.
Oh yeah.
And rewarding.
But rewarding not only in the money sense.
Well, yeah. That's
it's rewarding in your life.
Yes.
You build friendships. You learn responsibility.
Right.
Generation doesn't really have that.
Not at all.
I'm not trying to say, oh, generation sucks. But there's quite a lack of responsibility, respect.
Yeah.
It's just not there.
Yeah,
I don't see it.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not paying attention.
I don't know. Maybe we're just old school.
No, I know I.
Yeah. I mean, specifically with jobs and stuff like that, I think one thing that I've learned is that, you know, you obviously want to work. Like you guys said, it's extremely rewarding and extremely, you know, obviously you have to do it, right? Like you said, you need money. It's not the only thing in the world, but you need money. It's just kind of the way that everything functions. And then specifically, I think you want to make sure, though, that you're not just doing it to do it, in a sense, right? Like what I would give, here's what I would give you. And I'm not saying that this is you guys. If you've been in a job for 5 years and you're not, and you find yourself not being content anymore, not being fulfilled, then I think that you should probably do something. That's my personal opinion. That's something that I dealt with, like, actually in my life. It was like 2.5 years, and then I decided, well, you know, I'm not having fun with this anymore. And the reason, and maybe you guys have experienced this in your lives, like either personally, but most likely at this point, probably indirectly, because I know I have. If you consistently do shit that you don't like to do, I really believe that you're just going to become old and like grumpy in a sense, and like very unfulfilled with your life. And then ultimately what's going to happen there is you're going to kind of push that on other people because you're disgruntled, like almost like displaced aggression type thing. And again, I'm not saying this is just a topic. I'm not saying that you guys are on that path or you guys are doing that. I'm actually, everybody that comes on here, like I said, I'm just curious to hear if they have those similar things, because I know that I've had that in my life from time to time, and it's pretty difficult to deal with, because you're like, why are these people unhappy? What did they do to get to an unhappy? I'm sure, like, you know, even just in your jobs, you've dealt with unhappy people. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about, like, what the fuck is this person unhappy about? Like, how does that even, like, what is that?
Probably their self.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it starts with, we hear it all the time, be happy with it. But, like, just shut up. We get it. That's a cool piece of advice. But I think it's serious.
Yeah.
You may not be happy with everything you've done or everything about you, but you have to be content. Maybe that's a better word. But I don't think those people, I think a lot of people put on a happy face.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's one of my wise words. Listen well, Christian.
Clip it.
Did you hear that?
Write it down.
Write that down.
Write that down.
Put that down there.
Okay.
Good. That's good for you, too.
Thank you. Yeah,
You're
definitely
welcome.
good for me, too.
That's right.
I've like I said, like I've worked with Christian. I've seen how Christian reacts to unhappy people, whether it's customers or coworkers. And honestly, he does a pretty freaking good job at handling it. Yeah. Like there's some times where I've seen him, he's wanted to rip the heads off of some of his coworkers, but like he's handled it like beautifully, and like in that sense.
I wonder if they would agree too.
Probably not.
we took a poll. Beautiful job.
Beautiful job. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing I've learned is how to manage people and manage those unhappy folks and try to make their day a little bit better. So that's one big lesson I've learned is how do you deal with those kind of people and make them happy? Because let's be honest, I'm in an industry that's kind of everyone hates but needs but loves, and it's so hard because the people that I see usually have some sort of complaint. Yeah. Almost all, you don't have someone that says, "Oh, I'm just stopping by to tell you how wonderful it is." It's usually someone that broke something doesn't work, they need to pay for something they don't want to pay for, or something weird. So,
but the mailman at one of your locations, you did tell me, does stop in to say hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I just wanted to put that out.
Waynesburg. Yes.
Male person.
Yes, male person in Waynesburg.
Oh, that's a male person.
Nice. Male person. Male person is always welcome in the store to stop in and say hello.
Except for me. If I walked in, I'd be thrown out.
Yeah, you're out.
Thank you.
Throw them out to the wolves.
And I'm okay with it.
That's funny. But yeah, I don't know. I think that's a really good skill, honestly, that you're building there, Christian, especially in like, I don't know if that's necessarily retail. I don't think
it's retail.
Yeah, we call it. It's retail.
Is it retail? Okay, yeah. So
it's retail.
Yeah, and I've heard a lot of horror stories, obviously, from that, and like obviously like the thing that we're kind of in, is food service, similar type of thing. You always have people that are just disgruntled, and just angry for no reason. It's like, what did I do to you? You know what I'm saying? And normally it's nothing that you did.
Right.
The food services. Well, I put up with it for 5 years. By the end, it was like, all right, that's enough.
Yeah,
I was out. But they come up with complaints, and they say bugs are on their food. It's burnt cheese. Come on, but you got to. The customer is always the customer.
Yeah,
they're sometimes stupid.
Yeah,
I can say that now because I'm not worried. But
yeah, it's an interesting thing. I don't know. I'm probably actually, especially what I'm doing now, I'm not really in that environment too much. So I'm not really building that skill as much as like maybe as I have in the past in different experiences. But, when you have, I don't know, I just don't want to grow up and be like a unhappy person, like I don't want to be doing things. And that's the reason, like, I left my job, and the reason that I'm sure you guys are doing things that you love, which is great to hear. I just don't ever like to see people that have a ton of potential and a ton of drive, right? Think about it, maybe you guys do things that you really like often, right? Whether it's ridiculous examples here, like video games and things like that, right? Like, but you're really into them. There's got to be something else that you can definitely make a living playing video games and streaming nowadays. So it's actually a bad thing now at this point to say that. But what I mean is there's definitely something out there that you can always find enjoyment in and fulfillment, and then take that to the next level where that's like the biggest thing in your life. Much like you guys are doing, right? Telecommunications and eventually maybe postal detective work and all that sort of stuff, and Tech Neighbor and everything that Jesse has going on. So I think honestly, I think it's not talked about enough, truthfully. I think it's kind of mulled over in a lot of senses, and people use different things to fill that void of not enjoying like their life in a grander sense, because we spend a lot of time working and we spend a lot of time doing other things. So I don't know, just a thought. But yeah, so as far as it continues to go with you guys and your relationship here, as far as this bond that you've built, do you think that it's going to continue? Do you think it's going to continue for indefinitely? And it's like, well, actually, here's a good question. I know you kind of live in the moment right now, but do any of you kind of see yourselves like getting to a point where your friendship kind of continues to expand? Meaning, you guys are obviously in different spots now, but do you see yourself like moving or anything like that? Or
I mean, I plan on staying in the Pittsburgh area. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, I mean, kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Same goes for me.
Nice.
I plan to stay, but I would go.
You would go? Where would you go?
Yeah, get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
See ya.
I mean, I'd probably go just about anywhere. I mean, I'm not going to say I'm going to stay here forever, because if it's one thing I've learned, we talk about being happy. I've always grown up in a household where I was taught, like, do whatever you want as long as you're happy doing it. And if you're not happy, like you said, change it.
Right.
That's just how my parents raised me, and that's how they are. They can attest to that. Like,
amen.
Yeah, my parents are pretty crazy about that. So I would move if that's what's going to be best for me in the moment.
Gotcha. Nice. So if we go into like, maybe we dive into something like, maybe a topic that we've all had to deal with a couple, I don't know, times or whatever like that. And just like, it's actually kind of a piggyback, I would say, off of your friendship, right? So what would you guys say? Obviously there's things that and like, pillars and virtues and stuff that you guys have like in your friendship, like, kind of expanding on that and going into like relationships. Which is kind of your mindset on like relationships in the sense of now where you're getting to the point where you're in college, right? You guys are in college. You might want to start, like we said, start a family and stuff one day. Like, what are some things that you're definitely like looking for, or that you guys already have in like relationships and stuff like that? I know that Alex, I think you have some different like opinions and stuff like that, or just things that like are important to you. We were talking a little bit before the show and in the breaks and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you want to start, Jesse, you want to start?
You're an experienced man. Why don't you tell us?
Like, so I was expecting someone else to answer. I don't really remember the question. I'm really sorry.
I mean,
about
no, it's all good. It's just like, so maybe like, let me give you some more context. So like relationships and stuff, like, you want to make sure, I think, that in a relationship, you kind of like, you're kind of pulling both of the sides of like the weight and everything like that, and you and your partner and everything. And I'm just thinking like very broadly, like, is there stuff that you guys have experienced that like, has put you in a certain mind frame that's like, well, no, this is definitely not what I want like in the future. This is what I want in the future. This is what I'm looking for, this, that, and the other thing. And obviously, Jesse, you're in a relationship. Not sure about you guys, but like, like it's just very general things. I mean, because again, it's just all part of that like development, I would say, and then personal development also, but the interpersonal thing, between you and a partner or between you and friends. I think there's a lot there that, we could touch on that probably people have different experiences and, so.
Well, I kind of like to bring all of my friends who I know together. And a big thing for me is to have my girlfriend be a part of my friends as well. Mm-hmm. So Sarah, Christian, Alex, and we were at Outback the other day. Like, it was the four of us.
I love Outback.
Yeah. We weren't Outback.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, Outback Steakhouse. Yeah.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, so I always want my closest friends to also, because like for a while there, like in high school, Alex and I went to the same high school together, but we kind of drifted apart. His friends and my friends were kind of polar opposites in a lot of ways. And then obviously Christian went to a different school. Kind of lost contact with him for sure until obviously out of high school. We would meet occasionally, less than occasionally, in high school. But when I started working with Christian at Cricket, kind of pulled everything back with Alex as well. Because like, even though our high school was small, like Alex and I really did have friends who were complete opposites of one another. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of hard to juggle. It just came to be just in differences, but like I always assumed like Alex and I were always close anyway, even though we weren't together the entire time. Mm-hmm. But
we could always text each other. I mean, yeah, you're right. We weren't as close in the first years of high school. I'd say going to the graduation, and through him, I guess it was through Christian. We
in a lot of ways,
because he worked for
that kind of did bring us all back.
Yeah, because like I know you and I took some pictures together when the day of graduation. He didn't look too happy that he took pictures, so I don't know what's up with that. But
I was happy to graduate.
Yeah, he's happy to get out of there.
Yeah,
but I mean, like, in terms of like pulling everything together, like I really want to have like my close friends from high school also ended up meeting these guys. When we had parties at the house and everything. Mm-hmm. Like I wanted everyone to know everyone,
right?
Just because like I have a lot of respect for the friends I made, and I also have a lot of respect for the friends that I have made years before. So I didn't want to lose that. I personally felt like I lost touch with a lot of JFK friends that I didn't really want to lose touch with. So I don't know. It was a mixture of things. So like I kind of wanted to keep everyone together. Sometimes that wasn't the best idea. So
yeah,
you can't really. Some people butt heads.
Well,
mutual friends can.
You said your friends from high school met up. Well, I knew the kid. I mean, I
talked
to them. I got along with pretty much everyone in our class.
Yeah. I didn't mean it like.
No, I was just saying.
Like,
but I get what you're saying. We had different friend groups.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a lot of dynamics there. I mean, when you're coming up throughout high school and college and everything like that, you guys have this friend group, but like you said, Alex might have different friends, Christian might have different friends, Jesse might have different friends, and then you try to bring all those worlds together, and it's when you don't have always got to be cognizant of like almost the level of maturity of the groups that you're bringing together, because like there are some people at some times in their lives, and again, we're not commenting on the other, the outer spheres of your guys' friends, but just in general, there's sometimes I've found that some people are like almost like, well, I'm just sticking to this, and I'm not trying to expand my network, if you will, right? Well, it's an interesting term, but like I'm not trying to expand like the number of people I know. I'm not trying to like merge this friend group that I'm really close with other people. Something that I've started to do is just not really give too much of a shit about like who I'm talking to or like what I'm saying, in a sense of because I want to be authentic and genuine and stuff like that. But there's a lot of people that are just very comfortable in the space that they are in, in their friend groups, and they don't want to venture out and like, maybe, Jesse's like other friends don't like commingle, and it's just it's an interesting thing. But if you are able to bring them together and you're able to like be the intermediary, then you're just connecting more people that could have more things in common. It's awesome, because then you're just, building this network of people that are all awesome and doing different things, and, learn from each other. You can all have fun together. And I respect that. That's dope. So, yeah.
Fair statement. I agree. Anything to say?
No, I totally agree. And I think especially Alex and I getting to know some of your friends, I think that works fine. I mean, we're pretty...
Go ahead.
We're flexible people, especially you. You can get along with like anyone.
Yeah, I was gonna. I'm not trying to be braggadocious, but I'll talk to braggadocious. But I'll talk to anyone. I mean, it doesn't matter. They'll probably think wish this idiot would shut up. I mean, there was a time though I wouldn't talk. I was a mute.
That is true.
That is
we
true.
we had a basketball coach. Not to get off the subject.
No, yeah.
Once I
Go
got
ahead.
to grade
Go
school,
ahead.
we played basketball, and he thought I was a mute. He was one of the fathers in the class. And I never see him in church anymore, but I'd always like to go up to him. I just want to let you know, I'm not a mute. I'm talking. That's a mouth I have. It's interesting, isn't it? Learn something new every day. You really.
He's a character.
Yeah.
He
was. He was.
I mean, I've known him since I was a toddler.
We had a great time playing basketball.
I was going to say, you had a great time.
We did. And you attended, what, 2 games?
Not even.
It was very, you came out for the team. Very nice of you to come out for the team.
We all know how I feel about sports. Not my thing.
Hey, listen, we stunk. But having you there, we might have won a game.
I was with you in spirit.
Oh,
You're not even religious.
Okay,
Listen to me.
Okay, yeah. Okay. There you go. That's beautiful.
Listen,
I'll remember that
when
one.
you were on the football team in 9th grade, who came to one game?
Wait, I was on the roster. That was
When was this?
I was on the roster.
Came to one game.
He attended one.
Do you know how many Cannon Mac football games
and
I went to when I was in high school?
Did I play for 5 seconds that game? Which would have been longer than I usually played.
Yeah, something like 5 seconds.
Well, I'm glad you came out.
I did, and I never ever went to a Cannon Mac football game. So see,
Thank you for that.
You got me to count. You're welcome.
Thank you for that.
I do not.
See, I was there
didn't
for
go
you.
to freshman. Never mind.
You were there in spirit too, though. I bet, right? Is that
I
give me that same garbage?
Freshman year, yeah, I guess.
You're not even religious.
Yeah, here we go.
Freshman year, I went to the homecoming game. That was it.
Freshman year going to school was hard enough.
Yeah, that's true.
Who wanted to go to extracurricular crap?
I mean, I was in 4 sports that year, so.
Oh my God.
Big man, big sports guy right here.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know you were a sportster.
Yeah, the first year I did swimming, basketball, baseball, volleyball, and technically band.
So that's a sport. Now that's this is
Okay.
new to me.
Okay.
Now.
So
I played 2 sports in grade school. I was in the band.
okay, that's
You are
concert.
working your lungs. You are working your lungs.
I played a sport then too.
Dude, I want to be honest with you. If you look up marching band, like professional marching
Here
band,
we
yes,
go.
there is professional marching band. They are considered to be one of the most in shape people out there. They were like ranking like that like heart rate or heart healthiness. Like the first one's cross country, and literally like professional marching band. They are in shape. I swear to God, you can.
I
look
don't
this
doubt
up.
it. I mean, you gotta Google it,
DuckDuckGo
blow
it,
in
do whatever you
instruments
want.
They wear the uniform too.
Yeah, it's hot.
76
It's wool.
trombones led the big parade. 110 cornets close in hand. I mean, really, what the hell else do you need? That's it.
They said that, and I'm not going to go any further with that.
Listen, we get it.
Thank you, Jesse. Just always bring a really great perspective and little facts. A lot of band facts.
Just look it up.
Just look it up, folks.
They're there. They're number 2. Trust them.
Go it, as Jesse says.
Go it or
Google it, maybe.
DuckDuckGo.
How about Bing?
Technically, never mind.
Wait, you're talking. Yeah, forget it. I'm still on the rotary phone. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say DuckDuckGo uses Bing search engine, but that was an irrelevant fact.
Did you know that?
I actually, a customer taught me that because I have this customer that's like obsessed with
I bet this was in
DuckDuckGo.
Charleroi.
No, not in Charleroi.
Washington?
No, Cannonsburg, actually. Someone was
Cannonsburg.
DuckDuckGoing.
People know everything, don't they? Gosh damn it, I'll tell you, this is...
Says the guy from Cannonsburg.
I'm the exception.
You're the
I don't know
exception,
anything. Don't call me. I'm from Washington originally.
too? Okay.
But the Washington people, I love them too. I don't want to give off the wrong vibe. What the hell are we talking about, Mark? Get us back
Get
on
it,
reality.
yeah,
here. What the-
yeah.
It's all good. Whatever we
my
want to talk
fault.
about, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's always Jesse's fault.
Threw a huge tangent in there. Sorry.
That's good. No, it's good. I mean, I mean, there was a lot of.
Wait a minute. I just remembered.
What other band
We
fact?
were talking about extracurriculars. Band is an extracurricular. So that's why I threw it in
This
there.
just into the newsroom. Band is an extracurricular sport. It's a dual major too. If you take band, you're
I just
a
wanted
double
to throw that
major
in there.
already.
Like, I didn't want to make it seem like I just threw that in there for no reason. Because you said
You did.
extracurriculars, but I was also mentioning the fact that I was in for sports. But technically, I wasn't
Technically
banned that year.
You know what,
We
Jesse?
can all concur that. was
Let's
beautiful.
not revisit that. Let's close the book on
That
it.
is
I'm
out.
sorry, it's
Book's
still
closed.
lingering
It's
in my
out.
mind.
It's out.
Bye.
We know
It's
who's out.
not being
Moving on.
fixed
That's
right
right.
now. It's
Oh my
oh
gosh.
boy.
Just drink your water. Move on.
Take a sip.
Next.
Back to reality.
Oh my god, you guys are a hoot. I can see though. I can see though why you guys are.
All right. Hey, listen, we let him out of the home tonight. We'll bring him back around whenever, but he'll.
Curfew's 10 o'clock.
Yes.
We better get rolling. That's. So you guys touched on a lot of stuff there though with like, you know, how were you guys, did I hear in that you were all in band?
Yes.
We were all
grade
in the
school,
band.
yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Dual
Okay,
major.
I don't
No,
want
go.
to y'all had dual majors. So like is that, do you think, one of the things that is something that brings you guys together as far as like common interests in a sense?
Yeah.
Are you all very musically talented? Something that I'm very not.
We were.
Yeah, we were.
I am.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
apologize. He still is. Give him a call. Number should be flashing at the bottom. No,
World class percussionist sitting right here.
No, but we were marginal. We were fair.
We had a good time. I think
We were in that. We weren't just in the band at one point. We
Oh,
were,
the jazz ensemble
the
or
cream
whatever?
of the cream or whatever the hell that was.
Yeah, the jazz.
What was it?
The wind
Help me out here,
ensemble.
band
Talking
man, dual
about,
major.
like-
What the hell am I talking
Like
about?
You're talking
Like
about the
All-Star
wind
band?
ensemble.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm
honors
talking about the
band.
things Santorum had us do that we were. It was you
Honors
stayed after-
band.
Yeah,
were
it was
in honors
It was
band.
like the school's very. We were. God bless her, the nun. She's
nun.
still
Oh,
around. The nun.
gosh.
Runs.
I love
She's
that
still
movie.
alive.
Oh yeah, so I think she still does it. But we were in the form. He had his own. What was it called?
It was a
the
wind
ensemble.
ensemble. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've tried to tell you.
You remember wait a minute. You're a dual major in band. You don't remember the wind ensemble?
I don't know what
Where
we're
the hell were
referring
you?
to. Are you talking about when we did the Star
We
Spangled
would-
Banner?
No, not
No,
that.
no,
We
no,
did
no.
Phantom of the Opera. Don't you remember that? It's small group. It was like,
That's
Small.
right. I
You see how
remember
well we did in remembering.
Uh,
yeah.
that. I forgot. That was actually fun though. That was a good piece.
We had so much fun in band. Probably too much fun.
Yeah, well, our band director. You guys want to tell him what's so interesting about our band director?
He was blind.
He was blind.
Yes.
And one of the most talented. And seriously,
He
was
was
talented.
remarkable.
He was. He was phenomenal. And we learned a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, he was superb, and I'm not just saying that. He was, and it was amazing.
Yeah, but he had Alex and Christian, and occasionally he would have me the three of us would set up like the sound systems. Sometimes we would set up the band chairs, like move equipment from one room to sometimes the gymnasium. That one year,
We always had a good
And
time.
that plays into why it was a sport too. We would get all of our strength
A lot of
by
lifting.
moving- by moving the tables.
It was tough work.
It was. But we got out of class a lot for it,
Yeah.
so why? We appreciated that.
Yep.
Did you say, was that the thing that you were kind of talking about? I think we've talked about that before. Is there like a...
Yeah, so the other thing that we did, like, yeah, we helped with, Mr. Santoro in doing the band stuff and taking the equipment, but we also we were like the tech support of John F. Kennedy Catholic School.
Yeah, that's true for like those couple of years there.
It was mainly from what I remember, it was mainly the entirety of our middle school. We would take computers from one room to the other room. We would set computers up. I remember Christian installing software, I think on the library computers for something. Or maybe the first
He has
graders
the
room. I
memory.
don't remember. I do.
He
I
has the
remember
memory.
this
I just
stuff.
want to specify when they were doing all of this technologically inclined
I was going to bring that up,
garbage.
yeah.
Now, I would go and I would do some of the wiring,
Yeah.
because I could figure that out as I went along. I changed the lock on the computer lab door the one time for the kids when they were stuck in there.
Oh, my God.
So I was
You
helpful
saved the
in other.
kids.
I saved the kids. They couldn't get out, and I let them out. But I was really just like a third wheeler. Like I'd say, "Oh yeah, I can do the crap." I'm really like, get the hell. I can't do anything, but I'll get out of class for it.
Yeah,
and they believed it.
And we did get out of class
A lot.
like a lot.
Too much.
Too much. But hey, we're here.
Debatable.
It worked out.
yeah,
Look,
I mean-
We turned out very normal.
Yeah, and honestly, I think the teachers in the entire school, they really liked us. I think they trusted us more than other kids in the entire school. So they gave us that option to do that. Now so the other thing about our friendship is that sometimes it can get, I don't want to say abusive, because
We
there
need to
were
put an
like,
abusive
it's
hotline.
not-
Is there something I don't know between?
no, because I remember this
What's going on?
but it's not like a bad thing. Like, I remember this time we were in the library and Alex was plugging in the computers. Or no. Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he was plugging in the computers, and Christian was just kind of like standing there, and Alex made some sort of comment or something. And all I remember is Christian grabbing Alex's hair and just swinging him like around. Like then they just started fighting, but like it wasn't like a bad type of.
We weren't actually.
I do
fighting.
remember you had the way
he
you would. This was your advantage on people. You would grab their head.
Your hair.
No.
Your
This was
head.
This was
Yeah.
many people. You
Really?
would do this.
Many
Yeah,
people?
when,
hair
when we'd be
puller.
practicing,
He did it to
was
me
a
a
hair.
couple
He was a hair pull.
He
We'd be
was.
practicing for stations.
Station.
God forbid in the church sacristy. How sacrilegious of you! And you
Well, we
would
know how
grab
religious I am.
someone's hair, and then I think he would go shh. Remember that? And then he would like stab you with things and play. You were very violent.
I'm a
very
very
violent.
violent
We
person.
actually we worry about you
Yeah.
today. We would like
Yeah.
to get you checked. Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but like even though like it was violent, like it was like a playful type of thing.
Don't
Like,
worry,
it wasn't like I remember there was one time I came back from basketball. I think I think Becca, your mom picked me up from basketball, or someone's mom picked me up. It wasn't
Okay.
my family. And I go
Just
to your
random.
house, and I'm sweating because I just got back from basketball practice. I had a light jacket on because
Plus, you were in the band.
Plus, I was in the band. We go to your house, and I think I must have got dropped off because I was the only one there. All of a sudden, I see these two bozos come around, and it's snowing outside. I'm in my shorts. They grab me
I
from my
remember
jacket,
this.
put my jacket over my head, and drag me all the way to the top of the hill. And there's like 4 inches of snow. And they threw me down the hill in the snow.
Oh, my God.
Do you know how much planning that took?
That took a lot of planning for
I mean,
our,
we-
mere-
and we
for
had
our
to
mere
wait.
little
I-
minds.
Days.
And we had to wait for you to come. I
Perfectly
actually, now that
executed.
you mentioned that, I remember
Thank-
that.
Yeah, that was at Meadowbrook.
Perfectly executed.
Yes.
Dragged him up the hill,
Yes.
threw him back down.
Masterful.
That was 4 days of planning for a 2-second event.
Yeah.
And the thing is, this jacket that I had, I really liked it. It was
Nice
like a
jacket.
white jacket with like black stripes on it. But the interesting thing about it was that it had headphones built into it.
Oh, that's
Remember that, Chad?
That sounds
That
up
was
your
a
alley.
phase.
And it worked. But after that whole,
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Are
after
you
the
saying? Are
fact.
you accusing we broke it? Are you accusing us of breaking that?
Call my
Just
attorney.
be honest. You can say yes.
Yes.
I would like to start up a collection. $1 where we're taking donations so he can buy a new jacket. I'd like to have you a new jacket.
That's okay.
All right, to hell with you. Forget the collections. Give them all to Christian. He can get a new face. No.
Oh my gosh.
Thanks.
I'll get.
Yeah, and then one more story. There was that one time when we were just getting. It was like right after high school. We were at Christian's house, and Christian has a really nice pool in his backyard. But the other thing that he has pool noodles, which can be used as weapons. So
What's a pool noodle?
I remember that I remember that I'm pretty sure Christian was just in the pool and Alex was outside the pool, and probably some kind of comments were flailing everywhere.
Maybe not appropriate.
Maybe
for
not appropriate.
this kind of setting.
And Alex, he was like, you know what? Shut up, Christian. And he whacked Christian in the face with a noodle, and his nose just started bleeding in
Oh
the
my
pool.
gosh.
Yeah, I'm very sorry about that. I really am sorry to. Sometimes I stay up at night.
Thinking
And
about
I
that.
cry.
There's just no hard
What
feelings
could I have done
about
differently?
any of this.
Could I have hit you differently? Shame on me.
So I would say like it's equal. Like we screw around with each other
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
for sure. No
Yeah.
hard feelings.
I think
At
that's
all.
good. I mean, you don't want to break people's noses regularly,
Yeah, regularly. Yeah.
but I think
Every other Tuesday. What the hell?
I swear to God, like I just remember he just took the biggest swing he possibly could, and Christian just turned around right at the wrong moment and just smacked him right in the face.
Yeah.
It was a thick pool noodle, but that's how it was. Because like it wasn't like one of those flaily ones, but like
No,
it was like
it was
solid.
It has yeah.
Would it make both of you better right now if we got some baseball bats and you could just have a free for all for 2 seconds?
we'll film it.
Is that what this turning into?
I think so. Yeah.
Maybe next time.
We'll tack it on to the end of
Okay,
the
next
episode.
time.
Yeah, but I mean, I think though that like that's important, right? And I think that's something that comes along with a really good friendship and a friend group is that you're not, I don't know, stepping on eggshells around people and stuff like that. You're having fun. You're doing those types of things. That stuff happens, and then it just kind of gets washed, and you continue to go about it because like you're not doing anything like to intentionally like mess with anybody, but like that just
I mean,
comes.
like I think there's been probably some things that were intentionally hurtful, but known to be like it's not a big deal. Like it was, like if I were to say some of the things to my other friends that these guys have said to me or I've said to them,
Oh,
things
it
would be.
You got to have thick
ugly.
skin.
Yeah, you do. You
Yeah.
really
I mean-
do. Like it's.
Yeah.
And I think like that's like an issue. Like I've said some things in a jokingly way, but those other people, they didn't take it in a jokingly way.
Mhm.
Where these bozos, they would whip something back at me. I'm
Yeah.
like, fair enough.
Yeah, I think it's more fun like that because
I
then you
think
can
it is
play
too,
off each
yeah.
other and you can you have a good time.
That's a good way to take this though,
Yeah.
because there's a term for that. Am I allowed to use the term? I'll say it if I.
Yeah,
It's called
say
ball
it.
busting.
Yeah,
That's what it's called.
It
It's
is.
called ball.
Yeah,
It is,
And I
yeah.
think that you develop that over time
Yeah.
because you just can't come out of off the showroom floor and become a ball buster. You're
right. You're right.
takes
You
practice.
earn, and I've been taught this by older generation people I've been around. You earn the right to ball bust. And I think a lot of people take offense. That's why they don't understand it. When we're out
Yep.
there thinking, what, these guys, someone should be taking them back, putting them in their home. but it's a right. And I think it builds the friendship it stronger.
No, I just want to clarify. Like, I'm not saying things to just like random people.
you're not walking down
Like,
the
I'm
street.
not ball busting just like some friend that I haven't like really hung out with. Like I'm saying things to my friends who I've known for like 7 years now, and they're still not like comprehending like that it's a joke in a lot
Yeah.
of ways. Where these guys like,
Yeah. I mean, there's a certain level of understanding, even with
Yeah.
like the inside jokes and stuff like that. Once you start becoming more comfortable with people and you you hang out with them, you talk to them a lot, and they just understand, they understand when you're ball busting them.
Yeah, and I actually spoke to Alex a few weekends ago about it, because I was like Alex, you and Christian, you guys kind of spoiled me, and in the way where I am able to say whatever I want around you guys, and it's 100% okay. Where it is like walking on eggshells with certain people, even people I've known for 7 years. Like, it's just not the same level of quality, and I think I missed that a lot when I was in high school, because obviously we weren't as close in high school, but now that we're kind of back, it's really nice to be able to say those stuff. Hopefully you
takes a lot to offend me and Alex too. I mean, it's hard.
I'm very offended, by the way, for everything you said there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry.
Had to set him off.
I'm sorry. Well, I'm not sorry.
I think when you do that, we're all just kind of going through life, right? Taking a day at a time and stuff, and experiencing different things. When you have people in your life that are similar to you, like you guys are to an extent, and you're going through similar things, college, getting jobs, relationships, all this other stuff, you need somebody there that you can literally just talk, no filter to, no hold back, no, whatever you're feeling or whatever you're having trouble with or whatever. And, sometimes it's easier to talk to people that are like that rather than somebody that should be easier to talk to, like your parents or something, or your relatives, because you have these people that are going through similar things and might have a slightly different perspective, or just able to calm you down, or things like that. I think that's something I've definitely, been able to benefit from. I don't know if you guys have similar instances or different experiences. If you've given a time where there's ever...
You're Mr. Memory over there. Why don't you tell us something? Tell the crowd something.
Story time.
Another story? I mean, I have a good amount of stories.
Well, we're all waiting to hear them.
There was this one time, I'm pretty sure we were in our science class with Mrs. Papson. Christian was helping someone, and he was kneeling down in front of the doorway, and someone stepped on his...
He couldn't even finish it.
You just put yourself into some stupid positions. I'll tell you that right now.
That was so painful.
What he wants to say is you're a complete idiot.
He's literally dying.
Yeah. He yelled, "My calf!"
Your voice had a high squealish pitching. You probably yelled.
It still does, Alex. I talk to people
But we're talking
Listen to me.
5 years ago.
It's just a thing with me. I talk to people on the phone, and I get called ma'am all day long. It drives me nuts. Even when I call a customer service kind of line, calling me ma'am is just not a way to make me happy. It just doesn't.
I wouldn't. Yeah, that would offend most people. That's why we say male person. That's why we say male person.
Thank goodness.
Yes, amen. Are you going to finish your statement? What the hell are you talking about? 20 minutes here. We're covering for you.
We were in a room. Everyone was doing their own thing. And I don't know if it was Nick or Will.
I don't know who.
You guys
someone
got along well.
Listen, it couldn't
Someone
have been.
stepped on his leg.
I couldn't have been.
Will weighed 2 pounds. He wouldn't
he's
feel
2
Will
pounds.
stepping on
He
him.
shouts, "Ow, my calf." At the time, I don't think anyone knew what a calf was. And the class just started to howl because it was loud, it was random.
We took 8th grade health. We knew what a calf
No,
was. I mean, it wasn't a
this was
cow.
7th grade,
We're not
6th
talking
or
about a
7th
baby
grade.
cow.
He said, "Ow, my calf," not "ow, my leg" or "ow, that hurt." "Ow, my calf." I just thought that was such a random thing.
Memorable time.
I can be a pretty specific person when I'm talking. I've always
Clearly.
been very articulate.
Specificity is key.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Alex.
You're welcome. Good for you too.
If you passed out in that situation, they would have needed to know where the pain was.
It wasn't that bad.
Could have been the thigh if you said leg. They
911. What
He
is
was
your
just
emergency?
so dramatic about it.
My calf was stepped on. Did
Jesse-
you get here immediately, please?
Jesse, are you saying I'm dramatic?
You're dramatic. Well, you were definitely dramatic when he yelled, "Ow, my calf."
So do you
You
have?
should have been in a school play. That's where you
actually-
didn't. No. You were spotlight man. You were useless.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember us doing something with lights and Jesse being in the play,
He was
The
beast. He was
He
good.
was a great
He's
beast.
Good.
Yeah.
You are good. I'm surprised. You should be on stage. Next one leaves in 10 minutes.
Stage.
You were on stage. Wonderful productions you were in. I mean, outstanding acting work. You were in the band and you were in drama
Grammy.
club.
They were Grammy.
Were you running back and forth from the drums and the stage?
No. It was recorded music.
Not always.
There was no live music. Oh, I guess
Piano.
Mrs. Sisson, freshman or not freshman.
Freshman,
first year.
huh?
The first year we did that. Yeah. No. Yeah. I don't really talk about those years in my life.
No.
No.
Just
I mean,
Back the hell off is what he said. Back the hell
Well,
off.
I'm
buried
sorry. I mean, I just had to give him something. I mean, he just
Okay,
decided
so,
to
yeah,
tell
I
everyone
was
that
in
I'm
it.
dramatic.
But these bozos were flickering lights.
Like, you know what? We're always the bozos. We're the bozos that flickered lights in Stations of the Cross. We're the bozos that
true.
flickered lights at the play.
That is true.
We might as well not even shown up.
Whatever.
They seem to have everything under
It
control.
would have been dark.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You would have been the beast, but no one would have known that.
Gosh.
Beauty and the Beast, nice.
I have pictures somewhere.
Could we sell them? Could we get like money for that?
I don't know who would pay for that, but maybe.
There's probably a buyer. There's probably a buyer.
There's a
There's
buyer
always
for
a buyer. There's a
everything.
buyer
Yeah.
for yeah.
Somebody's willing probably somewhere. Just have to do a lot of research work. But these types of stories are even for people that have no idea, what the hell, you like don't know you guys, right? They're just watching the episode or whatever, or even like me, like it's comforting, I would say, or maybe that's not the right word, but it's like there's a lot of, you take and you're appreciative of hearing those stories from people that have, built in like a bond together and, and you've been together over the years and had a lot of good times because, again, when you do that, I just think it builds honestly stronger people. I mean, we're social creatures. And I think that when you put all that together and you have that experience over time and you learn different things and you laugh, like, my calf and all sorts of shit like that. I think those things they just make for a great time. And, as you go through, you need to have people that you can count on and you can laugh together, cry together, all that stuff. So I think that's awesome. I really do. So I appreciate you sharing the stories there, Jesse.
Okay. I mean, do you guys have stories
I
that
was
you
just gonna
remember?
say, what, do you have another one? You got something else to criticize me
Bring them
for?
on.
I don't feel comfortable talking about the one where our principal was, in fact, nearly choking in our math class.
Oh my God.
But
We'll leave that off.
do you guys have like things that you guys
Well, yeah,
specifically remember?
There's a lot of stories we have. I just mean, that.
What's is there something that like spark Christian's memory?
Every day was something.
Something.
I mean,
There's
yeah,
always
you're
something
right.
new. There's something.
Someone flooded the upstairs bathroom.
Yeah, but
But Alex and I got in trouble that one time. Remember Mrs. Papson got upset with us because
She was always
don't
mad at me,
remember.
though. She had it.
Yeah,
and
that is
Christian, what
true.
did she say? Every time. I could be sitting there. I could be absent.
well, there are
What-
two things. Two things.
Okay, let's see.
Alex, where are your glasses?
Okay, that's fair.
Speaking of,
And Alex, you don't listen.
That's exactly.
Yep.
She was
Hand
butthurt
movements
that I broke the Petri dish. That gosh damn Petri
Oh,
dish
yeah.
that cost the school 2 cents.
gotta break the Petri dish.
I'll tell you, I don't let. And by the way, my glasses are at home. I wear contacts now. I can see.
You should have worn contacts then because you needed them. You couldn't see and you didn't know.
I
where
don't
your
listen.
glasses
That's
were.
my
You don't
problem. I
listen.
don't listen. Yeah,
Never
okay,
listen.
that's
And
right.
then you sit at the back of the room. You can't see.
That's why I
anything.
broke the stupid dish. I would put the glass in my eyes so I could see.
Ow, that might hurt.
Now you tell me. Where were you in 8th grade?
Oh my God. Well, that's ouch. I don't even want to think about that Petri dish. But yeah. What do you guys think about? This is a harsh thing. I have no way to segue this. What do you think about? Like, we touched on it a couple times, and I don't know. However deep or not at all, we can skip it if you want. Like, with everything that you guys have done and the things that you and the schooling and everything, for instance, right? Like, we talked about Catholic school, we talked about public school. What do you guys think about like spirituality and religion in a sense of broadly. I'm not saying like we need to go into like deep like crazy stuff, because I can give you my perspective too on it. Like we don't need to have a religion war here. I just want to talk about like what do you think about your individual perspectives on how to be a good person, how to continually do that. Maybe one day, again, I know it's far out, but how do you pass that on to the next generation? How do you do those things? Have you guys thought about any of that? Have you had experiences with it? Obviously, you guys are in different positions as far as like religious beliefs and stuff like that and spirituality on your own. But I'm interested if it ever comes up in your friend dynamic and how you guys deal with it and what your thoughts on it, just in general, and we can kind of parlay off of it.
Which one of you hacks wants to go first?
I want to say something here. This kind of thing, even if we disagree, it's something that we can talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I think really not just religion and spirituality. We can talk about anything.
Pretty much,
Right.
yeah.
And if we disagree, so be it. And there are things we disagree on.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Well, the
that's
funny
the
thing
situation.
here is
Oh.
you have to. Well, I just let me finish. Okay, you worry about your calf. I'll worry about.
it's doing well.
Oh boy.
These guys don't. Correct me if I'm wrong. Religion isn't number one priority in your life.
No.
It's not anywhere on the table right now, and that's fine. What do I always tell you? I'm always praying for you, right?
Yes.
In the prayer
But-
circle. In the prayer circle.
And that's the thing. There was always a crack at me because I come from a religious family. Plus, I still am religious.
Yeah.
I still go to church every week, and I am always praying for you guys.
Yeah.
And
I
say that.
appreciate
And
that.
we
I'm
appreciate
always
it.
saying
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
But there was always a way to bring Alex into the spotlight and make a crack. Oh, where are you at? You at church? Where? Oh, he's
All the
late today.
time.
He's in the family prayer circle.
That happens a lot.
Still to this day.
Yep.
Like you're actually in the family prayer circle, or what?
No, I'm
I don't remember where that even
I'm-
came from, but I just
It's
remember
just
that
they're
happened
just
a lot.
they're just jagging you.
That's it. It is a religious version of ball busting. That might not be allowed to be said, but I'm just saying. I guess it's a.
I mean, I'm really happy for you that you're religious. I mean, I'm not. Like that's
Really?
not. Yeah, no.
I would
That's
never
What the
guess.
hell you say?
That's not me, but I'm super happy that you're still on that path and you're still dedicated
Well,
to
I'm
your faith.
super happy
'Cause
to have
that's-
understanding friends
That-
that understand.
That's important. I mean, you
Well,
went to
listen,
mass today.
we all cater to each other, and we understand where we are, and we have some good discussions
yeah.
Right.
when we have them, very deep
Mhm.
with other friends. So I just know I know where I stand, and that's always my thing.
Self-awareness.
I'm praying for you.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I don't particularly care what people believe in. I think people should be able to do whatever what they want. Obviously, I have a friend who does not care about that whatsoever, and I also have a friend who cares about that deeply. I'm not really sure where I stand on that. So we have one end and then the other end, and then I guess I consider myself to be in the middle. But like he said, that was not a priority. We had religion classes in grade school. They weren't anything important, but the religion classes at Canavan, they were weird.
Well,
I mean, you did well in them.
I don't want to step out of line, but I
had
will
Lang
step
for
right
but
out. I will step
2
out.
years. He was
Step right out.
fun.
I would say, in a sense, Catholic religion, no, schooling in religion class, that didn't have, and I'm not bashing it. I'm not saying it was I'm just saying I don't think it had an effect on me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You
the
didn't
effect
care
on
about
me
it,
is
or-
my relationship with Christ. That's where I get.
Gotcha.
That's why it just really didn't have. That's not where I got. Maybe my family life, obviously, very religious family, but
Very nice family.
well, thank you.
Love Jeff and Sue.
Thank you.
And Matthias.
Yeah, Matthias.
Well, we love Becca and Carol, and we love Vicky. God bless them, Dave.
Yep.
But my family did play a lot.
I gotcha.
But I don't know. I mean, you said that the religion classes at Canavan didn't have an effect on you. I think it
love
had
my
an
teachers.
effect on a lot of kids that went to Canavan. They were fighting with the religion teachers.
Well,
every
yeah,
single
they didn't
day.
believe, or they didn't care.
Well, the thing is, there were some times when shit was I don't really believe this, but we have to teach it.
Well, we had some opinionated teachers on both ends, and that's always
Very
been
much
a thing.
so.
And although the advantage you went to a Catholic school, okay, in a public school you can't give your opinion, and in a Catholic school you shouldn't be giving your political opinion. But the religious aspect of it, they have that ability to do so because that's what they're teaching. You know, you're going to a Catholic school.
Yeah, I mean, like I didn't want to learn that stuff because like I felt like JFK went over a lot of the stuff that we had technically gone over, but like I also didn't like the fact that I had to drop classes that I wanted to take because I had to have a religion class to take. Like I wanted to take an accounting class the 1 year, couldn't do it. I had to take a religion class. I wanted to take a computer programming class that Canavan actually offered, but they wouldn't let me do it, even though it was like a independent study type of thing. Like it was, they came up with all these excuses to like. I understand like we had to do it because it was a Catholic school for sure. I'm not arguing that, but like there was just other things I would have preferred to do rather than listening to our teachers who were very opinionated on the political side, who use religion as a stepping stone to promote their politics.
Right.
Stuff. I don't want to blame religion for Canavan's mistakes, but like I wanted to do things. I had to take a religion class to be able to do that. But the other thing is about the religion classes, or religion in general, or really anything in general, is like I really don't like to be told what to think. I felt like there were some times in grade school where like something didn't seem right. It seemed weird what they were teaching. And then like you asked why, and they were like, just because. And that just bothered me a lot. Because I like to know I like to know why things are. So
I guess I can offer some perspective on this because I went to a public school, so I went from K through 8 religion class every year. That's a weekly occurrence. That's just part of the fabric, and then going somewhere where that's just not part of the discussion, like you said, you can't do that. So for me, I'm with you, Jesse. I see what you're saying. I totally agree. Like, you don't want to be told what to think. I'm with you. I've just never really been a religious person. Even like Alex, I see you're shaking your head.
Well,
that's
also
never,
because of
yes.
That's because of like your home life.
I was gonna,
also.
that's why I'm getting in. We talked about how important home life is. Alex comes from a really great religious family. I happen to not come from a very religious family. I mean, I have one parent that's kind of religious, but not going to church every Sunday, and one that's just not. So it's shows how important our backgrounds are. My whole family really isn't religious, so like for me, I didn't grow up to going to christenings and having like
christening like that.
I don't know,
like I haven't heard a devout Catholic like okay, my child's getting baptized. Christening, like whoa, slow down there, 1929. And I'm old school. All right, continue.
Well, I mean, I can be a little old school too, but like it's just those important backgrounds. Like I'm not growing up watching someone get First Holy Communion. Like that's not part of my family fabric. It is.
You didn't
for
get any of those.
No, I'm not.
Is that what they're called?
I'm not
Sacraments.
Wow.
Just point out
the non-Catholic. You have the title. The non-Catholic in the room.
That's what I was gonna say. Just like to point out, I'm not baptized as Catholic. So
yeah, I couldn't remember.
I was able to answer that. There are 7. Yeah.
Wow,
he's doing good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
I'm on a roll here.
See, like I remember some of those religion class things, and that's fine.
So they're really not called blessings or anything. Because you are getting blessed in a lot of ways.
You're
right?
a blessing in our life. That's about all there, brother.
I apologize.
No, there's no need to apologize. We just Christian paid attention in class.
I was just gonna say
you're
clearly,
going to hell.
Yeah, clearly I took
I don't know what your excuse was in grade school. You were probably looking at Sarah in
grade school.
I don't know what your excuse was for not paying attention in grade school. You were probably looking at Sarah in high school.
Oh, gotcha. I didn't let you finish.
That's probably true. So, like I said, like I took things from our religion classes, clearly informational, and I guess otherwise, But going to high school though, like you mentioned, I was like free to take whatever I wanted, as long as the time existed and the classes were in the right slots. I can do that. But now I'm at a point in college where I'm a senior. I'm in a religious studies class. I don't think I told you guys that, but like this semester I was picking out some courses, and I'm like, I'm gonna take that world religions class because I respect like different religions. Like I like to do that. I like to acknowledge that it's not just Christianity. Like we got a lot going on in the world, so like I'm at a point where I kind of want to learn more. So that's why I'm doing that now.
The Asian religions are really interesting. I took Asian studies in high school. It's actually kind of cool.
I was in that class.
My class.
No, I wasn't with
class.
you. I took that course.
Yeah, Castle.
Yeah. So
that was fun. Interesting. You want to counter? I mean,
yeah.
You want to counter?
I mean, yeah, it was fun.
What's your perspective on like as a counter? But we're not having an argument here. We're having a discussion about like two different perspectives. What's your perspective on the things that generally people like Jesse, people like Christian, and honestly myself too. I'll give my perspective here, obviously, for you guys that don't know. I went through pre-K through 12th grade, all Catholic school. Went to Pitt, so after that was kind of like out of the Catholic system. Really, literally worked every Saturday and Sunday down at the restaurant. So like I was never going to church. If we went to church during school, like obviously I was there. Religion class all the time, just like you guys. But I never did anything like really outside of it. Went through the sacraments and everything. But for me, God and religion was always something that was kind of there. And, I occasionally like pray like to a higher power, being God and all that sort of stuff. And like Christian was mentioning there, I obviously know like the ins and outs, like most of the, the technical stuff that they teach you. But it was never something that I was like, all right, especially now, it's not really something that I'm like going deep on or trying to go like one of my plans is to not like go to church every Sunday and stuff like that, just because I've kind of grown away from it in a lot of senses. And I think a lot of times when that happens to people, maybe it's because they were force-fed it in a way during school, which is tough. But what would you say to like some of those things? Like, as somebody who is devout, we'll say, right? Do you like agree with everything? Like, how do you process that? Like, is every part of it like, I don't know. Is every part of it like 100% to you, or is it just something that like you truly believe in, or how does, I don't know, maybe just part of your perspective as from
putting Catholicism aside.
Yeah.
And obviously I wouldn't go anywhere. That's, I believe Catholicism is as close as you can get to Christ. But when I'm talking with any of these guys, it's not about being Catholic per se. Mm-hmm. It's not the Catholic Church. It's Christ Church.
Yeah.
It's God.
Right.
That's where. So agree 100%. I don't agree with everything.
Right.
But that's where I'm closest with most of my beliefs are.
Yeah.
But Christ is the center,
mm-hmm.
not necessarily being. I'm proud to be Catholic.
Right.
But it's Christ. We have to remember that's the center of Christianity.
Right.
Not you.
Definitely.
That was a nickname he calls.
I
him.
despise nicknames.
That's why we call
you.
You
have a lot of nicknames for Christian, but
let's not share them,
later.
please. Let's just move. Keep it rolling. Keep it rolling.
Grandma Cracker.
That's an old one.
He's digging them up.
He's digging out of the chest. Yeah, that's right.
Okay, continue.
Yes.
Moving on.
No, that's all. Christ is the center of that. That's all I was saying.
I think that's an interesting point there, because I think another big reasons, and especially kind of for me and some of the people that I feel have in my life have moved away from it after being in Catholic school, is because of the commercialization, I would say, of religion. And that's not really disrespect to the Catholic Church. Like, you can't do the shit that you're trying to do without money and without, funding from, your parishioners and all that sort of stuff. So I understand it from that perspective. But I think that sometimes it's like kind of, that's the part that rubs people the wrong way, because it's like I totally respect the way that you think about it. It's like, you're there for God, you're there for Christ, you're there for that relationship, and you're doing it as like Catholicism kind of like a vehicle in a way to interact with Christ. And I totally understand that. And if I was going to do it, I'd probably be the same mentality that I would kind of go with, because I think it makes the most sense. But I think that's one of the things that's just tough for a lot of people. It's like, You know, they see these big fancy things and stuff like that. When at the end of the day, I feel like I could probably just worship a, you know, higher being, God, Christ, you know, however you want to slice it, like just very simply, you know, and you don't need all the extra stuff and have that as a, you know, as something that could, you know, potentially cause some extra weirdness.
That's the thing too about the friendship. I think the fascinating thing is I've never pushed it in your face.
That is true.
Never.
And the only thing that really, like I always say, I'm praying for you. And even Christian, not as much. I'm just saying Christian, wherever your beliefs are, whether there be a struggle or something in his life, he'll even say, "Can you pray for me?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
absolutely.
I have said that.
Yeah, can you pray for me? Absolutely.
And you have a really open mind. Like you had asked him, you know, are you 100% there? And I'd say Alex will consider anything, and that's so respectable because sometimes you get so enveloped in your faith, you get those folks that are just like by the letter, and I just
it's in any faith, but
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said faith and not
sure. I'm with you.
Blanket statement, and it's just so respectable that you're always have an open mind to consider things that maybe the church as an organization might disagree with, but you're still open to considering it. So go you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a rare, nice comment from me to you.
It's very rare.
I'll remember that
was
because
kinda
I won't get a
shell-shocked
compliment
about
for
that.
another.
Glad
100
it's on.
years.
Write
Glad
it
it's
down.
recorded.
Take
Yeah.
that, put that on your notes.
Yeah.
You have that?
You got to bank that one. Yeah, that's not gonna. Apparently, that's not too often.
It's over now.
Yep.
But yeah,
It's fun while it lasted.
it's always an interesting topic again because my follow up to it is always where do you go from there, right? It's like, you know, if you're gonna take the responsibility of bringing people into this world one day, I think you try to make them as good as possible, right? And I don't know if you have to do it via religion, but I definitely think that that's an option. I think that there's a lot of people now. I've had a lot of conversations with people on this podcast, and then AM and the PM, which is a podcast I do with Amanda, where we talk to couples, like actually approaching that part of their life, where the question really becomes, how do you take a little, you know, guy or girl, little boy or girl, and raise them into something that is respectable and honest, genuine, and cares about other people and does all that? Because this is a real question that I have. I went through the Catholic Church and, you know, and you know, Catholic schooling and everything, and just by you know, like almost like passively, in a sense, you learn the morals, you learn the values, you learn the virtues. I don't actually know. I don't have a plan in my head. I haven't done a ton of research, just talking to people and stuff like that. I don't know how you do that without, you know, like an actual structure like the Catholic Church or like Catholic schooling. I'm sure there is a way. It's just teach them to be good people, because, you know, I would say we're all good people, right? Even though we don't believe in the same things necessarily. But it's just an interesting thing that I haven't had to deal with yet, and I'm always interested to hear other people's opinions.
Christian, you didn't grow up in a religious household, and I would honestly probably say the same thing. Do you believe that what you have learned was from your parents, or do you think that passively JFK also taught you these morals, these values?
That's a good question. And I think I've got some things from JFK. Like I said, some things just stick. And I think that I probably passively did pick up some of that. But my family's taught me so much. And I think that's probably the primary source of all of my morals and how I was raised.
Yeah,
so,
I was thinking the same thing. Like like my family wasn't religious by any means. Like my mom was like Nazarene or something. Like I don't even know what that is. My dad was a Catholic. We went to church I remember you guys making fun of me that I went to a church that wasn't even Catholic. I don't even know. I think it was like I don't even know what kind of church it was. It was just right up the road from my house.
I don't even remember that. So.
yeah, I mean,
No, I don't remember. So, but like
everything.
I can't say that I learned morals or the values from JFK or even Candavan. Like I just think like my mom always said, like, you know, just be nice to people. Mm-hmm. Don't do bad things.
Definitely.
Like I don't think I personally was affected by religion in any way. Like, I don't think I was gonna be a serial killer, and the fact that they said "thou shalt not kill" like told me not to be a serial killer or anything. But
There's something going through my head, right? And I have to share it.
okay,
Years ago, there was some sleigh party or snow party in 8th grade that for some reason I wasn't there.
Oh, are
okay?
you talking about
Not invited.
I might have not been. Why? Well, thanks again for
you
that.
were invited.
Okay, but I wasn't there. And you two went.
I know exactly. Yeah.
And you said you always remember what his mother told him as he was getting out of the car.
Wait.
And you said this is what his mother told him. And this was in 8th grade. And I remember it always comes. I wasn't there.
What?
He said your mother said no drinking
and
no sex.
Yeah, that was a dance though. I
oh.
think I don't think.
Yeah.
that
No,
was
it was a sleigh party because I wasn't
That was
invited to the
definitely-
sleigh
what
party.
is a sleigh party?
Someone had
at
a
Grace's
snow
house.
party
Yeah,
or some
at
shit
Grace's
that
at
I
the
wasn't
farm,
invited.
down on the farm. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Down
right.
on the farm.
It
In
was,
fact,
it was on the
Was
farm.
that Junior's farm?
Junior's?
That's a song. I'm
Oh.
aging myself there. That's sorry. 22. It's a song from the 70s.
That went
Great
right over
movie.
my head.
Great
Yeah,
to
me
see.
too. Like what?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. My mom would always say no drinking, no drugs, no sex.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't
No
remember.
shirt, no tie, no dinner. I think that was on a restaurant or something.
but like it was just something I was like, it was always like embarrassing. Like, mom, I know.
I always thought it was hilarious.
We got a good laugh out of it.
Always, that was embarrassing. But like, yeah, that was something that was ingrained in me, I guess.
Yeah.
In 8th grade.
My
8th grade.
entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know
that
when.
very
I don't know when my mom started, but
I
yeah, it
remember
was
there was a
same thing.
Yeah, there was a movie. I must have been like 7 or something. My mom, she was like, "You better not do that." And like, I don't even know what we were referring to, but then I saw the movie like 8 years later, and I remember the scene, and it was just kids smoking cigarettes.
Mhm.
So she was like, "Don't do that." So like, I guess I blindly
Yeah.
like said, "Okay, no cigarettes" or something.
Yeah,
It was weird. Like
that's it. I'm glad you brought that story up. That's a good one because like, I don't know if every parent does that, but I know that my mother did that.
My mom did that too.
and I think that definitely. When I say that, like the Catholic Church and Catholic school, like it had an impact on me. I do think it had a positive impact on me. I think long term, I think what ultimately happened was I felt like I don't need these set of rules and restrictions in order to be a good person, right? You just get to that point. But also, I'm not discrediting. I think I had this on my Twitter bio for a long time. I think I had extremely high quality parenting, right? Like much like you guys have had, right? So it's like, if you turn out good, it's a medley of things. It's not just one thing. But that's the story and the way that you bring that no, it was always like 3 or 4 things. It's like no drugs, no alcohol, no sex, whatever. Like the 3 whatevers.
Yep.
My mom would always say that. And I mean, it worked. I mean, I've actually never drank in my entire life. So, like, I don't know but as an example there, I don't know if that is something that you got to be careful is what I'm saying. Let's answer the question with the anecdotes that we provided here. I think that it's very easy as a parent to say that shit every single day to your kid and then have them rebel on you because they're like, just shut the fuck up. Because honestly, I said this to my mom once. I was like, you know what? I was so saturated with those, like, don't do this. Like just like Jesse just said. It's like, I know, it's like I was so saturated by the time that I was in 18, whatever age range, like in high school and whatever. It's like, Mom, can you just shut up? So what I'm saying is, I'm not dissing my mom. I'm saying that when you become a parent and the roles are reversed, at least for me, I feel like I need to be cognizant of that. It's like you're raising your kids, but your kids are people, like they're always going to be your kids, but they're individuals. At some point you got to be like, all right, dude, this is, I'm always going to be here for you, but this is your life. You got to lead it. That's just kind of how I feel. And because I really appreciate when people give me that leeway to potentially make mistakes, but just kind of have the faith in me to know that I'm going to, so.
So you guys didn't have parents that said no drugs, no. stuff.
I mean, that's like a textbook parent line.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking anyway. Well, you really should don't play in traffic and don't eat the yellow snow.
I just consider
Be
myself,
nice to your.
I just consider myself to be a rule follower. Like when Officer Pat came with Dare.
That was Deputy Pat.
Oh, I'm
that was
sorry.
Deputy Pat
I'm
from
sorry.
the Washington County Sheriff's Department.
I'm sorry.
It's Deputy. Correct him, Christian.
It is deputy.
Thank you.
Alex is right. Yeah.
I was just like, okay, just follow the rules, I'll be okay. And then obviously JFK always had like these assemblies where like they really hit hard on like tobacco and cigarettes and whatnot. Like
The DARE program.
The DARE program.
Was that the DARE program?
That was the DARE program.
Even like in the gym where they
You paid attention, but you really didn't pay attention.
I don't
Bum,
remember,
bum, bum.
I don't remember it all
Caught
being the
parts of
DARE
it.
program because like we wouldn't. Oh, I guess it was because it had that big cigarette guy with Dare on it. So I guess that makes
Oh,
sense.
no,
Drug
that's something
awareness
different.
resistance
Is
education.
that something different?
That was Officer Phil. That was the city department
Come
that came
on,
in to
Phil.
talk. Come on, man. Get with a program. Get
I'm
your
sorry.
facts
But I just
together.
remember that we were in the gym the one time, and we got to see the lungs of a smoker
Yes.
versus non-smoker.
That's creepy.
That's when the dentist would come in. The dentist would come in. That woman hygienist would. She'd come
She's
in with
not
a
a
teeth.
dentist.
The woman Okay, I'm sorry. The dental hygienist
She's
would
a
come
dentist, hygienist person.
in. She was the blonde woman that would come in
Yes.
with the teeth, and then she'd show you what
She
they
had
look like
teeth?
if you brush. Well, no, I think she did, but she'd
I would
come in
hope
with
so.
the little things, and she'd show you the cavity ones
And
then-
how to.
But don't you
brush them, yeah.
remember when we would go down to the gym sometimes and we
I-
would see the smoker's lungs versus the non-smoker's lungs, and then
I
remember the woman
Ronnie's
with a hole in
mom.
her throat.
Ronnie's mom would be in charge of like we do some exercising, and then she had us
I
test our
remember.
heart rate
Yeah.
and whatnot.
I was absent that day. I was
Yeah, no.
absent that day. I don't remember.
I remember
Yeah,
what you're talking.
like,
I don't know what it's called,
Was that
but I remember.
was
it.
that Dare?
No, that
Or
wasn't
was
Dare.
that just the wellness center or
that-
something?
Oh, that probably
Yeah,
was a
yeah,
wellness.
Yeah. Dare was in like 5th grade.
Drug awareness resistance education.
Thank you, Alex.
You're
I think you have a future.
That's a. You know what?
Dare
You might
officer.
think I'm a criminal justice major too. I bet that's what's crossing your mind, isn't it? This kid, he has a future in criminal justice. You're good. You are good.
Oh my gosh.
But the JFK really hit hard on don't do tobacco and stuff like that.
Most
Which-
schools do.
Do they though? I mean,
Well-
as hard as JFK hit it, I don't think.
I don't
so.
know. We all went to JFK exclusively. Can we get someone from outside the?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I, don't
I
know.
think it's
did
the-
St.
I don't know
Phillips
if
do anything?
I don't know. I mean,
I don't.
they definitely had some stuff, but I don't. I have terrible memory, so I'm a terrible person to ask this question to. I know there was a couple times at least where they did come in, but I'm not sure if it really happened like in middle school. I thought it was more in like 5th grade for me, 4th, 5th grade. I think I remember, and then it's kind of just like, well, yeah, just continue to be good or what. I don't know if it costs money to bring the DARE program in. They just didn't want to do. I don't know.
That's a
feel like
city system, isn't it? I mean, does it cost money?
No, that's like a national like.
No. But I'm saying the taxes pay for that, right? I would think. Maybe you
I
do.
don't know.
I don't think.
I don't know.
Alex, I'm going to ask you to do some research and report back in about a
3
week's
page
time.
paper. It'll be on your desk in the morning. Thank you.
Single spaced.
Yes. Times New Roman 12 font. You got it.
11.
Okay.
I prefer
Precisely.
11.
Why?
Precisely.
Are you a psychopath?
Look at the kid.
Half-inch margins. Chicago
Half-inch
style.
Half inch.
A typical W&J hack.
That is definitely not the
Easy.
format we follow. I'm sorry.
Where'd you follow that? Cannon Mac.
I just made that up.
Oh,
It says
oh,
Cannonsburg
okay.
Children again.
We live on the same street, Alex.
But I'm originally.
Oh my gosh, we live on the same street. So, all right. Well, religion and all that. I think that there's a lot of good content there as far as perspective and stuff like that. Appreciate you guys sharing that. Let's circle back to a topic that we kind of started discussing, and because I do think it fits well, and especially with the I don't know, we'll say the landscape of today. It's difficult. I've been in a relationship for 4 years, luckily and happily, but it's definitely difficult to find somebody, and it's honestly even difficult to stay in a relationship. Truthfully, like some people are more lucky than others, but like, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about, like, you talked about the friendship relationships, but like, relationships, intimate relationships where you're trying to. I always, as a quick aside here and perspective here, before I got into this long-term relationship, which I hope to last the rest of my life. Hi, Amanda. The thing that I always said was, I was like stopping, and I was getting kind of mature, and I was like thinking, okay, why in the hell would I date somebody? Like, why would I actually take the time to date someone? And the answer was because I want to marry them and because I want to build a life with them, right? So like, I wasn't trying to do things where I was getting to the point where I was like, I would like to just settle down, honestly. I felt like I was kind of mature for my age, and I was like, okay, what am I going to do here to start building this life and start investing in a relationship and in a person? And, those were some of the things that I was looking for. I wanted to make sure that the person was honest and all these other things. And I'm just interested to get your guys' like experience and thoughts on that, especially, if there's any sort of like spiritual element to it or anything like that. So,
I mean, I don't want to start. I may go off on another tangent or something.
Yeah, you totally derailed us last time.
Well, I don't have luck in that sense, but it's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
But spirituality plays a role. You learn a hell of a lot about people.
Yeah.
I mean, because really you're going into something and you're thinking, this is great, and then you got to keep in mind they can stab you in the back at any minute.
Yeah.
Any minute. It doesn't matter. And I think the number one thing in a relationship, and I'm not in one, maybe, gentlemen over on this side of the table who are, you can tell me, am I wrong? Because this is what I believe. Does trust play any role in a relationship?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's because I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe trust play, but doesn't. In some people's mind, they'll say it, and they really don't mean it. Or they don't comprehend what trust means.
Right.
Honesty up front. You can say you are, and you've know the facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, I know some of the stories that Alex has, gone through. And it kind of is a shame because, like, I've known Alex since, since I was 5. So, well over 15 years. So I know that Alex is actually a really good guy, and he would be willing to put in the effort. Mm-hmm. But it just seems like some of the instances that have happened, they never gave him like the chance to like, or there's just a lot of stuff going on, but like I feel like they never gave him the chance to like actually like let him do the things that he'd be willing to do for that said person. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can.
Well,
correct me if
I
I'm
think
wrong.
a lot of what it is with me too is again that old fashioned sense. Mm-hmm. I guess in the sense I'm kind of call me out here. Mm-hmm. I still hold the door for a woman.
Yeah,
that's not.
That's sexist. And
you got to be careful.
Exactly, you have to be very careful because they don't want you to pay for the meal every time. Now they don't.
You shitting me?
Well, but this is what I mean. You learn different things. They don't want you to bring them flowers. Wow. They don't want
Sarah
this.
hates flowers.
See, this is all you gotta. But that's engraved. I believe in.
Yeah.
What I find that's super important in a relationship is that you guys both have to have the same values. Mm-hmm. Sure. That's probably just not the case with you yet. You haven't found maybe that someone, because like, if you guys are like batting or bumping heads with one another on literally every single thing, or like, I don't know. I think it really comes down to values a lot of times. Like, you can set aside differences on other things, but like when you guys don't value the same thing, like you said you're old fashioned.
Trust.
It's big. You value trust.
Very big.
I would assume a lot of people do want trust in their relationship, but things just happen, unfortunately. I had a better conversation before it disappeared.
It's all good.
Doctor?
All right, I guess I should weigh in. When it comes to relationships, you guys know this about me. I'm just not an emotional person. And that's something I really try to work on, because I can be like so cold-hearted, like not just with anyone, and it's bad.
You really are a jerk sometimes.
I know. Like seriously, like I just I'm not an emotional person. I'm
until you get some alcohol in you.
Okay. I mean, we know I don't drink that much. Don't make it seem like I'm an
doesn't
alcoholic.
Drink that much. He drinks too much.
No. Okay.
No, I mean, like, I agree with you.
Well,
like,
so like I'm just that's something I've been really thinking about recently, is like, what can I do to not come off as like so terribly cold-hearted? Like, because even my own family would tell me like I'm just terrible. Like I'm just so cold.
I don't know. I think that's a defining feature of you. I don't necessarily have
defining feature.
any, anything against that in you, but I guess that could affect your like actual relationships in a lot of ways.
My mentality: if someone's gonna like you, they're gonna like you for who you are.
Yep.
And if they're gonna like that upfront
cold-heartedness, that's cool.
Cold-hearted. That's harsh.
That might be a little.
That's a harsh.
That might be
term.
harsh. Yeah. I'm not sensitive most of the time. It takes a lot to get me there, and it just doesn't usually happen. And I just have I don't want to say I have high standards, because I really don't, but I'm just very particular.
That's a fair statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is.
Not just in relationships. I'm just kind of like that in general. So
let me weigh in on this from somebody that's definitely not certified in relationship counseling or just any of this sort of stuff, but I'm working on the certification. For somebody that's a couple years older than you guys, right, and has had this much more experience, what I would say is what's worked for me, and obviously to this point, is both of you are in like the two things that you just outlined right there. Okay, I think they're very normal for people to go through. Let me address Alex's first. Like, so trust, huge one, right? The idea that you can't trust somebody when they're not with you, or you think they're lying to you, or stuff like that in a relationship is a shitty ass feeling. Wouldn't wish it on anybody. I've been there before, and it's like it's not worth your time, because then you're like you get that pain like in your chest and in your stomach. It's like, what the hell are they doing, or like are they doing something behind my back, or like what's the deal? Like, you'd rather them just say, you know what, I don't want to date you. It's like, okay, fine. Well, now we can just be separated or whatever. It's no big deal. So here's where I think that stems from. I think that stems from immaturity. And when I was in relationships before my current one, I think that was like the defining, like the hallmark of it. It's like, even myself too, like I was immature. It's like, and here's the thing. So I'm kind of all over the place here, but if they're immature, then they don't have that mentality. I think once you get to that point where you say, like I said earlier, if I'm dating you, I want to marry you. You know what I'm saying? Or we're either going to get married or we're going to end it. Like, cause it doesn't make any sense. We're wasting time.
Yeah, but that's definitely not something that go through people's mind nowadays. Like they want to test everything. Like they want to make sure that they're making the right decision.
Right.
So they will go on to the next
Second
person.
guess themselves.
But the grass is a lot of times never greener on the other side, but they may have burnt their bridge.
Right.
It's almost
side.
like, what if? Well, what if?
Right.
Well, what if? Well, what if the earth blew up?
Yeah.
What if I drop dead of a heart attack? What if Christian gets out a gun and shoots me?
I wouldn't do that.
Listen, I appreciate that. You are very cold-hearted, though. I wouldn't. But anything can happen.
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, I think that there's definitely, like Jesse said, a lot of people today aren't thinking like that, which is a shame.
It
obviously.
is.
But there are people that are, right? Like, if you're thinking like that, then you're going to find somebody eventually that is doing that. Here's what I would say is like an actual, okay, so that's like the concept. What I would say, and actually what worked for me, okay, is when I found Amanda, I'll use Amanda as the example. It's fine. Maybe she'll listen to this, maybe she won't, but regardless. When I found Amanda, I was literally like, listen, I like you so far, right? We've had a couple conversations, right? Nothing truly invested yet. I like you. I think that we are very similar in a lot of ways. I think that we have similar values. And here's actually the big kicker. We had both been in like at least 3 or 4 relationships already. I'm not saying that that's a qualifier. Like obviously Jesse and Sarah, for instance, I'm using you guys as an example. You've been together for a long time, and I don't think you guys had relationships before. It doesn't matter. I'm not saying that you have to do that. But when you get to a certain point in your life, it's like, I think most people at some point or another are like, you know what? It's time to settle down. It's time to get to that point. And if you or anybody are in that position, then you should probably look for somebody and vet them almost immediately. Like, look, are you in this or are you not in this? Like, is this the mind state you're in? And then literally say, like I said to Amanda, listen, I'm looking to start building a life here, like slowly but surely. I know we're young and all this stuff, but I'm looking to do that. And I feel like I'm mature enough to do that. And here are the things that I truly value, like honesty, trust, transparency, teamwork, and I literally said like all these things that I'd gone through and like I didn't like, and here's what I value. And when you bring that to somebody, especially like, a potential partner, it's like they're going to appreciate that because they're going to realize, oh, wow, this guy's got his shit together. Like he understands like what he wants and what he expects from me and what I can expect from him. And I think when you're extremely like honest with them in the early going, I think that it works out much better. Now, the second part of that is what Christian said, and Alex, what you doubled down on. Christian, like I understand that you might think that you're kind of cold-hearted, and maybe that is a characteristic trait. I don't know enough about you to comment on that. But regardless of that, though, I will tell you without a shred of a doubt, when you figure out who the fuck you are, you have to stay that way. Like, you can always change, like, slightly, but don't be somebody you're not because you don't realize how difficult it is to keep that type of a thing up. You know what I'm saying? So that those two things together, that brutal honesty and then that authenticity, like, you're going to find someone and you're going to have a great life because once you get to that point and they buy into that, something that you're already like, okay, listen, this is how this is going to go. Are we going on or we're not? Like, and it could just be that simple. Like, you don't need to lead anybody on. You don't need to, do any of the BS stuff. I think that is a long-winded explanation that may be, but like, I think that's the way that I hear those two things and what I would say.
I think that's a perfect
Spot
explanation.
on.
Yeah. One thing I would like to add, like, I feel like Alex and I, for sure, Christian, I'm really unsure. But Alex and I think I don't want Christian, I don't want you to take this the wrong way or anything. But Alex and I, when it comes to relationships, I think Alex and I have always considered ourselves to be a little bit more mature than a lot of our friends, in a lot of ways. Because like, I've been with Sarah, like I've known her for 7 years. I've been together for her for basically 6 years. I'm always looking for something for long term in general. Alex, I assume, is also looking for something long term as well, right?
Well, when you say we think of ourselves more mature, that's not in a braggadocious sense either. You got to clarify that because it's just we're not looking for someone to hook up for the weekend for, right. Hey, let's go to this party. I'm beyond that. As are you.
I felt like I was beyond that way before.
Sure, anything. Yeah, absolutely. That wasn't our thing.
Like I didn't want to waste time.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Just for like.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
It's a fair statement.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't know the circumstance. Yeah, I apologize for that, Christian.
Authentic question, but yeah, that's
yeah, because like I know people who they have a new chick every single week, and they're like they seem like they're having fun and everything, but like I think something that's very underrated is like being able to find someone and have that same person around you all the time to build that relationship with. Like this guy, like I know, like he did in fact have a girl every single week. He's like this Tinder. He called himself a Tinder god. Like he was able to get this, like all these girls no matter what. And he just seemed like he wasn't happy with himself. And he always got mad because like he would spend 3 weeks on someone, and then he was like, oh, that third date was the worst. I can't believe I wasted 3 weeks for that. I'm just like, why aren't you maybe if it's something small, like go try it again. Just don't forget about it and go off the next way. Like put some time into it. Just don't keep finding a new girl every week just to make yourself feel better. But like Alex and I are different like that. Like, and Christian specified that as well.
You're in
like,
now.
We want.
You're in the club.
I'm in the circle.
We want.
Welcome.
Like we want. We don't want to play games.
Yeah.
That's tiring. Like, you get people to think that like building a long-term relationship is a lot of work, but I think it's more work to just hop between person to person.
Yeah,
like
create
that's
a new like
you're
friendship,
exactly like
new
that's
relationship
ev-
all the time.
that's exhausting to me. Like I couldn't do that
I guess it's
constantly.
underrated to like have someone like it should be like more popular to like want to spend a lot of time and maybe the rest of your life with someone
Right.
just to, you know, instead of just having some random new one all the time and then just being unhappy.
Yeah.
Because like you have that moral support, you have that everything behind you. So
There could be a bunch of reasons for that type of behavior, I would say, like the jumping from thing to thing. But I think one of the biggest ones normally from what I've seen is that, you don't take the steps to understand yourself and don't understand
That's
and like honest. This is going to sound really cliche and stupid, but honestly, it's true. The part that I left out about, like that little spiel that I just gave, honest to God, like you have to love yourself before you can love somebody else. Like you have to be, maybe you don't have to, but I really think that it helps to like actually understand who you are, what you want to do, and just be very content and very happy with what you have going on personally before you try to give that love or, affection to somebody else, because people are so complex. And when like you don't love yourself and then you try to love somebody else and like you're like the shit that you're dealing with like bubbles into that relationship and like maybe they give some of it back and then like eventually you have kids and stuff like that and there's just like a bunch of shit spewing everywhere, like as far as like how you guys are all feeling. It's terrible. I think that is one of the biggest reasons. So that's why I always try to like think about yourself first and get your stuff in order and then start going to other people and whether it's a relationship or whether it's just people that you're interacting with. I think it all kind of circles back to that.
I can relate to that, like finding my authentic self. That I feel like I struggled with that a lot.
Yeah.
Like I'm still kind of a struggle, but
I don't know if you ever fully get there. But
when you okay now, I don't think people understand what like you can't just jump. You keep like he was saying, just jump, and I gotta jump.
Well, people do.
And that's exactly where I was getting. And it's like, oh no, I don't do that. I don't jump. A month and a half, that's a jump. We're talking time, and I'm not calling anyone out.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Get your facts together. It all goes back to that. Know what you're talking about. Don't be stupid.
Right.
And what the hell am I talking about? A question to go off topic. Your girlfriend's name is Amanda. Do you ever sing Amanda by Boston to her?
Oh my God. No, I don't know.
Tomorrow. You ever go on like
I've one Boston song, More Than a Feeling.
Okay, wait, you play Amanda. That's a song, but it's a good. Am I right or am I wrong?
It's a good song.
Or am I both?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes and no.
True and false.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will play it to her. I will do
Hey,
that.
okay, that was just boiling in my mind. I couldn't get it. Anyway,
Your taste in music is appreciated.
I appreciate your appreciation. That's the bottom line.
Well, boys, I think this has been tremendous. We covered a lot of topics here. Unless we left something burning on the table.
Yeah, Christian, do you have anything you want to talk about?
Nothing burning.
Alex, anything that's
Fire's out.
Fire's
out.
All right.
Yeah, it's definitely getting a little later, but I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming on, Jesse. Thank you for coming back on, bringing some friends this time.
Thanks for having us.
It was tremendous. Yeah, absolutely. Great to meet you guys. We're gonna be doing this a lot more, so I'm sure we will have you back on. Maybe I'll get like 17 more mics, and we could have a huge round table or something like that.
Ooh.
Sounds like a lot.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's hell of a good. Like the dip.
Yeah,
that's hell
like
of
the
a
dip.
good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hell of a good dip.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. The one thing actually that I totally forgot about this whole part, and we did talk a lot about it, but there's these 3 questions that I ask everybody at the end, and I kind of guess forgot about it because we have multiple guests this time. But maybe we run through them real quickly. The first one is what are like your top 3 influences like in your life, you would say. So Actually, this is actually a really good question because it's going to give a lot of good insight into stuff. So, like Jesse, I think we kind of got yours last time.
Yes.
So maybe we'll skip you. Maybe you don't get.
Yeah, go watch that, please.
Maybe go. We'll link the episode in the description. Go watch that. But you guys, Alex, what would you say your top 3 influences are? They can be people in your life or people indirectly.
First would be influences, or like just God's number one.
Gotcha.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Like my parents, they're
Mhm.
big influence.
Yeah.
Don't always see eye to eye,
Right.
but love them dearly.
Yeah.
And I don't think they get that all the time because
Yeah.
we have our share of disagreements, but parents. My grandfather
Mhm.
has always been
Yeah.
a big influence.
What a
I'm
great
not
guy.
saying the rest. I love my whole family. I
Right.
don't want to call and say it, but my grandfather and my friends.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I feel like. Yeah.
You guys, as cold-hearted and annoying as you are, you're
I think
special.
I think for me, like my parents, like you said, I have a great relationship with my parents. I can talk to them about anything.
Yeah.
So definitely, probably top of my list. And 2 and 3 kind of has to go to. Like, I have a couple of different friend groups, and I think I can lean on you all,
Mhm.
and especially this group influences me so much. And yeah,
I actually agree with that. I didn't specify that in the last time,
Mhm.
but like I definitely agree with that.
yeah.
Gotcha.
I concur. If that meant anything, I concur. And that's it.
Nice. The other one is kind of just it's similar again to what we talked about because it always runs in line with everything. What would be your best advice to somebody? And I kind of just mean anybody randomly, maybe your future kids or something like that. But what, like, almost just your best life advice? 1 or 2 liner. Like, for what would you say? How to lead a good life, or how to lead a, whatever your. It's a loaded question because it's tough to piece something like that together. But
Yeah, to get through every day is just kind of stupid, but I just tell myself, keep on trucking.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
stupid. That's
Keep-
so stupid. I'm just kidding.
I like it.
What the hell with you? Who
No,
asked your
I was
opinion
like-
anyway?
Well, you said it was stupid. I was
Moving on, Christian. That was a
It
stupid
wasn't
comment.
stupid.
We would
It was
like
respectable.
to hear. We would like to hear what you have to say. The room is silent. We're waiting. Go ahead.
Best life advice.
Best advice.
Don't be afraid to be yourself.
I like that.
But I know that's like something that seems so repetitive, but like for me, like I don't know. That's just
I mean, it's important.
yes.
It's definitely
good.
important.
Alex,
You-
can we
you
mute him?
are-
Can we
Mute
unplug him, please? Like,
Oh, jeez. But no, I like the advice, guys. Like I said, it goes in line with everything we're doing here, and appreciative of that. The last thing, and again, Jesse, sorry you already went through these questions,
No, I
but we'll have
understand.
all your stuff in there. If you guys would like, I know that you are going through a bunch of different stuff right now, like obviously, like, career paths and finishing up college and everything like that. But if you would like, we can put in the description like some places to follow you guys on your journey. If not, that's cool too.
fun
yeah,
fact,
Christian,
we have a really fun fact coming up here.
Yeah.
What's the fun fact, Christian?
I don't do social media.
Really?
He
Never
has no
have.
social media.
Never will.
That's an interesting.
Yeah, no snapping,
no,
no
snapping.
no Instagram,
Gotcha.
Facebook, anything else that you can come up with. TikTok.
Honestly, your life is probably a lot less toxic
Yeah.
because of that. So
yeah,
there's a lot of good and a lot of bad. So.
Yeah.
no
But
social
yeah.
media. Alex though, even though he's old fashioned,
I
doesn't
seldom
use
use it.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Yeah.
use
I
it.
don't use it.
I gotcha.
there's
Well, we'll just follow you in spirit then, just from the
yeah, like
episodes.
Christian said, in spirit. That's exactly.
yeah.
Great to see you.
Good to see you too.
It's-
But that's pretty much the questions. I appreciate you guys coming on, like I said, and it's a lot of good content there. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks again, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope to have you back. But as for now, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Fueled by Progress with our guests, Jesse, Alex, and Christian. Thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate it, and we will talk to you in the next one.